Point guard position. Probably the most important and hardest position to play in the NBA. From guys like Magic all the way to Steph Curry, there's a lot of versatile players at this position. And in today's video, I'll be ranking my top 10 point guards going into the 2025-2026 NBA season. But before we even start, I actually want to do a few house cleaning things just to set the record straight for you guys. Players expected to come back from injury will not be on this list. Players who were injured last year but played towards the end of the season and in the playoffs will be included on this list. This list is a combination of what the player looked like last year and what their potential upcoming season is going to look like as well. Just because one player is one spot above someone else doesn't mean that there's that big of a gap between the two. And last but not least, please hit like and subscribe to help the channel grow. And also comment down below your own list. First of all, I'm going to go through my honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is LaMelo Ball. He's really good when healthy. He's a really fun player to watch. He plays the game like he's a kid at the park, like the way that he shoots the ball and just kind of like plays, dribbles, everything. It's kind of like very entertaining to watch. He has good role players around him, but just like him, they're always hurt. And the one big thing that he needs to be consistently on this list is to be healthy. And if he can do that this year, this upcoming season, then he'll definitely probably have a spot on it next year. My next honorable mention, Tyrese Maxey. He had career highs last year, showed a lot of growth, and he wasn't even playing with PG and Embiid. He's the type of player that can score at several levels, but he was also the only player on the court without PG and Embiid that looked like a threat. So a lot of the times, a lot of the defenses were looking at him, and it kind of did make it difficult for him to even get anything off. And his season did end early because of an injury, but I think if he did keep up that play and he did have guys like PG and Embiid right next to him, I do actually think that he would also be another guy that would make this top 10 list next year. My next honorable mention, Kyrie Irving. I love Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is actually one of my favorite players of all time, favorite players still to this day. And last year, he just really balled out. He was leading the league in minutes until he got hurt. He's always a guy that's consistent on offense, and he can play both guard positions. So, like, by the time that he comes back in the middle of the year this year, he's most likely going to be playing either the 1 or the 2, depending on how they want to play D'Angelo Russell alongside him. He doesn't need the ball to be effective. We saw a lot of that when he played with Luka, or at least both of them shared the ball when they played together. And the big reason why he's really not on this list is because he's not going to return into the middle of the season. So it's going to be a little bit hard to kind of judge where he would place. And my last honorable mention is Tyrese Halliburton. He's an amazing playmaker. He can score really well. He does need to be a little more aggressive. We did see that in the playoffs, especially because they were able to get to the finals, and he was essentially kind of one of the biggest reasons why they were able to get to the finals. I don't think he is as overrated as people say he is, and the biggest reason why he's basically not on this list is because he's going to miss the entire season with that Achilles injury that he got in the finals. But I do think that the Pacers will at least be a bottom to play-in team for the playoffs hopefully this year. Now onto my actual list, and at number 10 we have De'Aaron Fox. He got traded to the Spurs last year, didn't play much with Wemby, and the biggest thing on why he was actually ranked number 10 is because throughout the entire year he was playing with a finger injury. His mid-range game this upcoming season will probably be better, and the big reason I say that is because his finger was actually the reason why he didn't shoot as well as he could have last year. It does feel like he could be one of those players that could take a step back because of the injury, but I think because he's going to be playing with Victor Wembanyama, he'll have an easier time actually being able to play the game, or at least get a lot of his shots off. He still has the speed. He's a really good transition player. All we need to see now is him actually utilize all of this without the finger injury and right next to Wemby. My number 9 is Darius Garland. Garland is a player that actually was able to stay healthy last year, and he did actually make it to the All-Star game. The way that I feel like he plays is kind of like a modern CP3, and after getting hurt kind of late into the season and in the playoffs, he didn't really look that great. He only played a total of 5 playoff games this year, and in the 5 playoff games that he was able to play in, he really didn't look good, and that was because of the toe injury he had. He did end up getting surgery on that toe and during the offseason, so he will be back 100% healthy by the start of this season. And he also does kind of feel like the type of player like a De'Aaron Fox that will never be a first option, but he's going to be an amazing second or third option on the team. At number 8, I have Ja Morant. The team has changed by not having Taylor Jenkins there anymore, and Desmond Bane got traded to the Orlando Magic, and instead they now do have KCP, who's going to play alongside Ja. He does put a lot of pressure on the defense with the way that he plays because he's always getting to the rim. His mid-range and paint scoring is his main offensive tool. He's actually one of the, I think, the few players on this list that doesn't consistently shoot the 3 or is a good 3-point shooter in general. But I do feel like he does make up for it with his playmaking because he is a really, really good playmaker. He's really good at reading defenses, being able to pass the ball in like just so many different ways. He's really a really smart player. And like I said before, he does need to work on that three-point shot, and I do feel like he has to be healthy in order for this team to have a chance in the West, because the West is so loaded. And now that Desmond Bane is gone and you did replace him with KCP, I don't know if he's going to have the same output as Desmond Bane. So John Morant will have to be a very, very big offensive focal point. Not like he already isn't already. My number 7 is James Harden. He had a really good season last year from the Rockets into the Sixers and now even the Clippers. James Harden has really proven that he is the system that runs the team. He also is one of the guys that actually hasn't missed the playoffs in his entire career, and I don't see that changing this year at all either. He's still an elite playmaker. He does still have that step back three, and he is really able to still get to the rim. And even if he does get to the rim and he doesn't have a good shot, he's got a lob threat in Zubac that he's able to actually throw the ball to as well. So that's a very, very good thing to have on his side. And he is really one of the biggest reasons why Zubac had such a big improvement in his game last year. He does always have stinkers in the playoffs, but he will give you a game or two here and there. But other than that, yeah, a lot of the times he doesn't really have great playoff performances. At number 6, I've got Trae Young. I feel like Trae Young's role is kind of similar to James Harden's role throughout his career. My only issue is that we've only seen him play with one team, and we've never really seen him play that much off the ball. I know that when they got DeJounte Murray a few years ago, they really did try that, but him and DeJounte really never ended up meshing together. I also feel like a lot of the times we can actually put the Curry comparison to rest. He does kind of feel like a modern day Steve Nash, but also at the same time kind of not. And I feel like he hasn't really had a secondary ball handler that can really take the ball out of his hands, i.e. DeJounte Murray a few years ago, and Jalen Johnson last year was really hurt. So I'm hoping that this year Jalen Johnson will be able to stay healthy and will be able to put the ball on the floor and have Trae Young kind of be a little more of a off-ball screener, or I guess just a screener in general, because yeah, he did improve his screening numbers last year, but it wasn't very much. I also do feel like one of his biggest issues is the fact that his shot selection does feel pretty iffy. He hasn't really had very many players around him that have consistently been able to shoot like him, but now he does have guys like Porzingis and Luke Kennard and Nickeil Alexander-Walker that should be able to actually help space the floor out a little so he doesn't have to take a lot of these weird shots. At number 5, I've got Mr. Cade Cunningham. And I think that Cade is such an underrated player. He plays at his own pace. He's also a pretty good defender if you do actually look at his defensive metrics. And he is a pretty good rim protector, being the fact that he's like, what, 6'6", 6'7". One of the issues that I think that he kind of has is finishing at the rim. Sometimes it feels like when he gets there, he doesn't really have a plan. He is an elite playmaker, but I do feel like his biggest issue when it comes to playmaking are his turnovers. But with Jaden Ivey returning from his broken leg injury this year, I'm really hoping that he'll be able to take the ball out of Cade's hands a little more and kind of lower that turnover ratio for him. But other than that, I really do feel like Cade is such an underrated player. I think he's really solid. His finishing at the rim is the one thing that does need to be taken care of, along with his turnovers. At number 4, I have Jalen Brunson. He went from a number 2 on the Mavs to the focal point of the Knicks offense. He's a great, amazing playoff performer. He also plays a lot bigger than his height. To be honest, I feel like a lot of the people that do talk about Jalen Brunson, they keep saying that he's like not the actual height that he's listed. And if that is actually true and he's playing the way that he is, I really have to give him a lot of props. Despite the fact that he is really small, he is a very durable player as well. But I also do feel like that comes with the territory of being in a Tom Thibodeau coached staff. He's also always guarded by really good defenders, and I do feel like that speaks volumes, especially when he's still a guy that's able to score over those defenders as well. He doesn't defend very well, but with all of the defensive weapons he has around him, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, it makes up for his lack of defense. At number 3, I have Steph Curry. And God, saying number 3 Steph Curry actually does kind of hurt me a little bit. But let's be honest, is there really anything to say here? He's the greatest shooter of all time. He's a guy that still proves that he can perform when the rest of the team may not be performing. I also do think that if he didn't go down in game 1 or is it game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Timberwolves, I honestly do think that he could have helped push that series 2-7. If they make it out of that series, I'm not really sure, but he does have that ability to really keep you in games still. And that's probably the biggest reason why I think Steph Curry is going to remain a top 3-point guard for a while, even though it feels really weird to say that. At number 2, we've got Luka Doncic. He had a down year last year, which is kind of surprising because if you look at his stats throughout his entire career, I do feel like he's been a pretty consistent guy. Maybe not as consistent as the guy that's in front of him, but you know what I'm saying. He got traded to the Lakers last year, and boy, oh boy, I felt like him coming to that team, it still feels unreal. I don't know what Nico Harrison was thinking, but as a Lakers fan, I will say thank you for making a stupid decision. He also looked really good in Euroball. He obviously has been this whole like skinny Luka meme has been going around, and he does look pretty fit compared to the way that he was last year, or at least I guess the previous few years. He is an MVP caliber player, and I think if he's fully healthy this year, he is my pick to win MVP. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Lakers fan, but it's been a thing even when he was in Dallas. I've always wanted him to win an MVP. And yeah, skinny Luka may just tear up the league, especially because, you know, he felt like he was betrayed by the Mavs, so why not get revenge on everyone at this point? He's also a guy that really does everything on the court, but his defense can be improved. That was the one big thing that killed them in the finals against the Celtics, is that everyone on the Mavs was a good defender, but they kept picking on him. So hopefully, you know, his defense does improve, which I think everyone is kind of expecting it to or wants it to. And at number 1, I've got Mr. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He was the MVP and Finals MVP last year. He averaged basically almost 33 points a game last year as well, which if you were to ask me during his rookie season on the Clippers, I don't think I would have ever seen that. Heck, you could even ask me if I could have seen this when he was at Kentucky. No, I did not see this coming at all. By the way, he was one of my favorite players coming into his draft, so I could say that I was there before all these Glazers were. It also just helps that he's got a really good supporting cast from guys like J-Dub, J. Will, Chet, Isaiah Hartenstein, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Alex Caruso. Oh my god, the list goes on and on and on. Sam Presti really did build a really good team around him, and he does his best to really make everyone better as well. He's really good at finishing at the rim. He can shoot the midi, he can shoot the three, he gets to the line. I don't know what else you really want me to say. And yeah, always plays consistent. And we're gonna insert the "oh, my life's always consistent" joke here, just like my thing says. And yeah, I would say that's my top 10 point guards going into the 2025-2026 season. And with that, I'm going to just say, okay, thanks, bye, shooting guards tomorrow. I'll see you guys later. Thanks, bye.